Okay, so I do apologize for the content of this video. For some reason, there are blue hues that pop up randomly. I realize it's from the computer screen next to me, but I tried to push it away to limit that, but for some reason it's still coming back, and I'm just getting tired of re-recording um, this whole thing. So I'm just gonna upload it like this. I apologize again for the shit content or quality, um, but hopefully it won't happen for the next videos. I'll be ordering a camera through Amazon, so I'll be able to see myself, as this is just an action camera. There's no LCD screen to look back at where I am. I could look through the camera with the app, but for some reason it won't stay on during recording. So it's definitely not the best camera, but it's good for the helmet cam. And I just hope that won't happen again, or it won't happen again for the future videos once I get the new camera in. So, oh, sorry. And here is the rest of it. Hello again. So I'll be doing episode 2 of the Seltari series. And I had to re-record this because there was a glaring blue light coming from the computer that it would make the screen of the camera for some reason completely blue, and that'd be the only color on there. So hopefully this time it doesn't do that. I can't really see the effect. There's no screen to tell me what my surrounding looks like, what I'm doing. So it's just an action camera. But anyways, there is a change that I'd like to make where the Tazarine, Karin, Falkron, Fenarus in the neighboring lands would be just rogue lands during that time. We can add them later during the history, but if you want to keep them there, I'd like to hear what we do for those lands, because our trek towards the west, where we find Virayan, maybe it could make things a little bit more interesting to make it as just the rogue lands. But let me know if you want to keep the lands the way they are. So continuing on, there are... Oh, and I think that it would make the Seltari story work best, because there's this rogue town that has a wizard tower next nearby, and that's where this Seltari, or his direction of travel, led him towards that village. And I actually made some names for different people in this episode. So the Seltari who learned the elemental magic, his name is Sarlik. So it's Sarlik. And so his direction of travel led him towards that rogue land, and it was just mainly a place for him to rest. But he found out that there was a gladiatorial arena in that area, and so he decided to stay to watch the fighting, to see if there is a different fighting style that he could try to learn. And this town is very diverse. There's a lot of different species. So making this a rogue town, there would most likely be
a lot of different species that come in and out of this uh, village or this town. And while Sarlik was busy watching the gladiatorial game, there was this mage that couldn't stop gawking at this large snake-like creature. This mage was named Rostel Vitaeus, Rostelle Vitaeus, and he is a mage driven with the motivation to learn different um, cultures, also spells too, and other sorts of magic. But he's just wants to gain more and more knowledge. And there's this creature in a town where he's seen a whole lot of different creatures. And this snake-like creature he's never seen before. This large, intimidating looking creature that might actually seem intelligent. So he wanted to learn more, and his motivation to approach Sarlik was to learn more about his culture, his abilities. Can he speak? Just find out his cognitive abilities as well. And the other people in the town, I don't think they'd be surprised to see such a creature because of the uh, vast diversity. But let me know what you think on that. So he attempted to invite Sarlik to his tower to learn more about him, but Sarlik's attention wasn't on him. He was more interested in the gladiatorial games. So Rostel had to find out a way to get his attention, and with that, he uh, decided to use a little bit of magic, and it conjured up a small fireball in his hand, and with that definitely caught Sarlik's attention because he's never seen anything like that before. Magic was foreign to the Seltari, so seeing that for the first time, he was definitely interested. And in his head, he would be thinking how useful that would be to no longer need to cut down trees for to burn wood for warmth during the winter, or uh, to be able to cook food. So since Rostel caught Sarlik's attention, he decided to invest more on that and decided to teach Sarlik what he did. Sarlik was uh, accepted the offer. So they went back there and they did cultural exchanges. Sarlik learned some basics on that fire magic, but Sarlik would have gotten the short end of the stick in this case because uh, I would think that learning magic like that would take a long time, especially for a beginner who's never seen it before. Um, he would have learned enough to be able to conjure it, but to master its control would that's what he would be lacking, and he wouldn't be able to master that before Rostel's interest in learning the culture dwindled until he's gotten what he wanted. So, but Sarlik would still be more than happy to be able to conjure up the fire in his hand out of nowhere. And so, after the decline in wanting to teach Sarlik, he decided to just go straight back home and was more than eager to show his people, what he found, and he thought that it would be highly successful. It would make him renowned in his village, and when he came back, it did. It actually made it. It was actually very successful. And that journey that Sarlik went on was founded by a Seltari named Saryl, spelled Saryl. He's the one that pushed and encouraged the Sarthans to do scouting missions, not just regular scouting missions where you know count numbers, defense of the defenses and the offensive portions of the enemy army. He wanted to integrate learning the different cultures of the different tribes, fighting styles, and the economies. What and on what would work well with their economy or what won't work well. Um, so they'd have their pick and choose of a diverse kind of culture. And this helped further strengthen their tribe to have more knowledge of the different economy styles, fighting styles that made their army stronger as well as their economy. Doing this further enhanced their critical thinking as well as their intelligence, which they um, eventually pride themselves on, because it actually did become successful to further improving the forest and their lifestyle. And it was that separated them from the other barbaric tribes. This scouting mission was called the Sarthan Trek. So when Sarlik came home, he was more than eager to show off what he found to the Seltari, and they did like it. They thought, wow, I don't have to cut down trees anymore. It's possible to stay warm without hurting the forest. So they really like that. But during that same night, Sarlik attempted to practice, conjure up a flame, but it sparked much bigger than he anticipated, so it caught his house on fire, which spread very rapidly throughout the village and the forest. Casualties did happen, and one of those casualties was Cyril. So, not only burning down the forest, he killed one of the most renowned Seltari in history. And then Sarlik was immediately sentenced to exile, and his tongue cut out as to never utter another spell again. And thus, after Cyril's death, the Sarthan Trek was renamed Cyril's Pursuit to commemorate his ideology and his history-changing contribution to the Seltari culture. And I think that that would suit the memory of him very well. And so that's it for this episode of the Seltari. So the next one I'll be focusing on the detailed kind of deal where Scythe, Bladicius, and Maerzin first arrived to what is now known as Viraean, or the Windrian territory. And it would consist of the meeting between the Seltari and us. So I'll go into more detail on that. I'll see if the encounter would be hostile or peaceful. I think it'd be peaceful because they are open minded. They want to learn the intent of these foreigners, these that are traveling into their land. So, and they're not opposed to having people setting up camp, but harming the forest is a very serious crime. So, most likely it won't be hostile intent, but let me know what you think about the interaction between the Seltari and us. Alright, and that's it for this episode, and I'll see you next time.